Hello everyone, my name is Tango, and this is the Iron Trench. Alright, what you guys are looking at is a completely new, 100% original iron golem farm that is very unlike anything you've seen before. Inside this building are an astounding 32 adjacent villages that are overlapped and aligned in a straight line. And altogether those villages are going to produce 1,300 iron every single hour. Now, many of you guys have likely seen my previous Iron Golem farm, where I first introduced the concept of manipulating and overlapping villages together. Well, this design, I pushed that concept to the next level, and I packed these villages in there even closer, and all the while, this design requires much less space than almost any other Iron Golem farm out there. Now, unfortunately, in my previous design, it was later discovered that when you use this technique of overlapping the villages together, that they will eventually merge together into a single giant village, which pretty much invalidated that entire design, unfortunately. Well, you can consider this one my official response to that problem, because after a lot of planning and a lot of experimenting and patience, I have solved that issue. In this new design, the villages inside will still be destroyed if the chunks are unloaded. However, you really won't care, because this Iron Golem farm is going to automatically reconstruct itself. It's going to detect when the villages inside have been destroyed and will systematically recreate all 32 villages and realign them into a nice straight line as shown by this mod here. And this is all done 100% automatically without you having to do a thing. And the reason we do all this automation is so that we can have an absolute beast of an iron farm with 32 villages that's just going to absolutely crush all other existing designs in terms of iron production. So in this video, I'm going to first give an in-depth overview of all the techniques I used to make this thing happen, and explain how I automated the reconstruction process in detail. Then I'm going to give a complete, easy-to-follow tutorial on how you can build your own iron trench. Now, I realize this video is incredibly long, and some of you might be cringing right now, but I really wanted to get all this information down in one video for completeness sake. However, I do encourage you to just view the sections that interest you. You know, if you're curious how I designed this thing and want to see all the mechanics involved, then just sit tight for the how it works section, which is coming right up. If instead you want to jump straight to the tutorial to see how it's built, then by all means, please do so. But if nothing else, you should definitely check out the Watch It Rebuild section. Before we get started, if you need a refresher, if you don't feel confident in a lot of the internal mechanics of how villages work and how villagers detect doors and all that stuff, I'm going to put a link on the screen now. It's a link to a specific section of my last Iron Golem farm. I recommend you check it out. It's 7 minutes long. Just about everyone will learn something there, and it'll make you kind of appreciate all this next section more. Alright, so here I have two strips that are exactly 64 blocks apart, this red strip and the blue strip over there. Now in the past, I've gotten a surprising amount of questions asking me exactly what 64 blocks apart means. So just to be clear and to avoid any confusion, it means that there are 63 blocks in between these two strips. If you stand on one block right here and then check your F3 coordinates, if you add 64 blocks directly to the coordinate in the direction you'll be going on, then just go stand on that block. That's 64 blocks away. All right? So starting over here on the red strip, we're down to the first block of the red strip, and I'm going to place a door to make a village. And I should note that I've got got a little friend in the hole here helping us out with the process of identifying doors, and he's got another friend over on the other side there. So what you're seeing here are a bunch of red floaty dots. Now, some of you might be familiar with this mod. This is a concept I came up with in my previous golem farm video, but nothing like the implementation I had. The implementation I had was a complete pile of trash, if you remember the snowballs and the ender pearls and all that. But luckily, KaboPC took the idea and brought it to the level that you're seeing here. It's pretty much been critical to making this entire design. So I want to give a huge thanks to him for all his efforts in making this mod and putting up with all my crazy feature requests. He's just generally a really great guy. And I should also note that Kabo is pretty much one of the most knowledgeable Minecraft players on the planet. So, you know, he fits right in with the other brilliant minds on the ZipCrowd server there. So if you guys plan on making this Iron Golem farm, you probably want to pick up this mod, which I'll go into a little more details in a second. I'll leave a link in the description of the video, but you should also check out Kabo's channel if you have any sort of appreciation for the technical side of Minecraft. He's really good at it. So you're seeing a bunch of red dots here. What these dots are representing is they're showing us our villages. Every village is going to get a different color. Well, it'll start reusing colors, but basically they're all going to get their own color. So all these dots belong to one village because they're all red. It's also showing the radius of our village. You can kind of notice it's like a spherical pattern here. But the important feature here, which we really can't see, but I'll describe now, is every door that's part of a village, it will draw a line, a solid line from that door to the center point of that village. Now, in this case, there's only one door, so the center point is right underneath there, so there's really no line to draw, but you'll see in just a second. So let's head over to our other strip here. We're going to begin this village chaining process. So here we go. Now, if I got a door over there. If I place another door directly on this block right here, right, it'll be 64 blocks away. Now, if you watch the video I sent in that description to my older Iron Golem farm video, you'll know that if a door is placed within 64 blocks of a village, it'll be added to that village. But if a door is placed more than 64 blocks away from a village, it'll create a new village. So I'm not going to add it there. I'm going to instead add it to the second block there, okay? And you'll see once the villager picks it up, there we go, it's purple, so it's a second village here now, okay? So it's just out of range of that village and it creates a new one. But now the interesting part is if I add a door now to this block right here, it is within 64 blocks of that village over there, okay? And you'll see they link up. Now if you remember, when a door is in range of multiple villages, it will always be added to the village that is oldest, meaning the one that was created first. Now, since that village over there was created before this village that we just created, this new door is going to get added over there. And that's pretty much the magic that went into my last Iron Golem farm tutorial and the one that I'm going to be reusing here as well. So we've got two villages now, a purple one that has one door over there and the red one which has two doors, the center point of which is right in the middle here. And you can see right above me, the center point, or the sphere showing the radius, has shifted over, like so. So what I'm going to do now is basically continue this village chaining process. So every time you shift over, it's kind of like a ping-pong process, right? So now I'm ping-ponging back over here. Every time you come to a side, the first thing you do is break all the doors on that side. And when you do, all the villages will shift over to the side you just left. So now you can see there are two villages pretty much adjacent to each other, right over there, each with one door. Now, however many doors there were here when I arrived here, in this case there was one, I need to place two more doors starting at this end, the end farthest away from where we started. So I'm going to place 3 doors going down the line here like so. And every time, basically what I'm doing is adding one more village. So this door right here is the new village, and these 2 doors, because of all the range stuff we went through, are going to perfectly link up with the 2 doors over there, okay? Continuing the process, I come over here, and there's 2 doors to start, so I'm just going to pop out those 2 doors. You'll see over there now we have 3 villages that are perfectly aligned in a straight line, and now I'm going to place 4 doors here. 1, 2, 3, 4. The villager's going to pick them up. 3 of them are going to link with the existing 3 over there, and a 4th one, in this case the turquoise, is going to be created new. Okay, so the process of creating and moving villages into the Iron Trend structure is really a 2-phase process. Phase 1 is all about using the village chaining technique, which I just introduced to you a second ago. And phase 1 ends when there's 32 villages lined up on that blue strip over there, ready to go. Phase 2 now is all about taking those 32 villages and repositioning them into the middle of the Iron Trench structure, into a very specific location. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do now. So what you're looking at is a cross-slice view of the Iron Trench main structure. The red stripe on the ground there it's the same red stripe we used in the previous section about village chaining, but it's kind of positioned now relative to the structure to show you that it actually is part of this structure. This door here and all the doors that would be along that stripe are still just going to be hidden right inside, on the bottom floor down here, just kind of hidden. Now, couple things you should know here. For a village to spawn golems, it needs to have 21 doors registered to it. Now, for those doors to become registered, and just as importantly for them to stay registered, a villager has to be within a specific range of the door to kind of detect it. So that range is plus or minus 16 blocks in the X and Z direction of wherever the villager is, but only plus or minus 4 in the Y direction. And what he does is about every 6 seconds, or sometime within every 6 seconds, he sends his position to the villager system, and the villager system will then use that position to detect what doors should be added to existing villages, or what new villages should be created, or what doors that it already knows about it needs to kind of refresh the timeout timer for. By the way, these right here are the spawning platforms for the golems. So you'll see we have our 21 doors in here now. We have 12 on top and 9 on the bottom. And you'll also notice that they're kind of in a really weird pattern. And the reason for that is once we move the village in here, those 21 doors are going to make up a single village, and we need the center point to be right in a specific location, kind of like right around there. And that's so that the golem spawning area will cause them to spawn on both this top platform and the bottom platform. You'll notice the iron block here at the top of this cross-section slice. That block is kind of the key for the entire second phase of the rebuilding process. What that block is doing is, right now, it's preventing sky access to all 21 doors. So if that block was removed, then all 21 doors will have a block that will allow them sky access, which means that they're all eligible to become registered village doors. So, but however, just as I mentioned before, we need villagers to detect those doors before they're going to be added. And even more importantly, we need these doors to be detected in a specific order, namely the bottom ones first. So if I come over here and add our villager back to our little hole here, okay, he's now going to be in range of these bottom doors, and he'll be able to register them as villages, or rather add them to an existing village if they have legitimate sky access, which they still do not. Now, just to simulate this, I've got one village over there on the strip lined up that coincides with this one. Normally there would be a full 32 over there, and we'd be repeating this process 32 times, but just for example's sake. So if I come up here now and pop this light out, or the block out, you'll see the 9 doors down here are all picked up, okay? And they're all connected to that village over there. So this is one village now that has 10 doors, 9 here and 1 over there. So the next thing we want to do is we want to get these villages, or these village doors up here, also registered to that same system. So all we have to do now is get a villager in range, and you'll see all of them are instantly added, okay? Now this kind of nest right here of craziness represents the center point of the village, and that's important, okay? But it is obviously off-center now, which is not what we want. We want that to be more or less over here, like I said. But the only reason that's being pulled over there is because this guy. So let's go kill him. If this door is removed from the system now, you'll see that what we have is a 21 door village that is in the perfect location to spawn iron golems. And like I said, that's going to happen 32 times now, all back to back together to each other. So once I finalized this process manually, I, of course, had to start considering how to automate this with redstone. Now, just as a reminder, the reason we want to do that is because the concept of these overlapping villages, which I introduced in my last Iron Golem tutorial, it has a pretty major flaw, and which was discovered after I uploaded that video, unfortunately, but it has a pretty major flaw, and that is that if you leave the area, in other words, the chunks that contain this Iron Golem farm are unloaded, or if you go to a different dimension, that being the Nether or the End, eventually the villages in here will, in the old design they would have merged, but in this one they're going to be destroyed, and that's because I'm not going to be leaving sky access open here. Once the villages inside are created in the fashion that I just showed you here, the sky access is going to be closed. And interestingly enough, that does not destroy the doors that had once depended on that block being open. So when you come back to this village, or whenever it reloads, there's not going to be any villages inside it. And then when no villages are inside it, no iron golems are going to be spawning. And the lack of iron golems spawning is what we're going to use to automatically trigger a reset of the whole system. Alright, so when we consider how to automate this whole process, we obviously can't be breaking and re-adding doors as I had been doing so far to this point because, well, there's no automated way to place doors. So instead what I'm going to do is rely on a bunch of sticky pistons and some clever timing of a villager timeout, which is a 60-second timeout. And what that is if there's a door that's part of a village, but there's no villager in range of it to detect it, then 60 seconds of that, 60 seconds without that villager being there, that door will be removed from the village that it's part of. So essentially it's just as good as breaking that door. So that's what we got here, is we got a villager who's on a piston, okay? And when he's extended like he is now, he is out of range of all these doors, just because he's one block too high. But when I lower him, he can now detect these doors here. So I'll be timing when I push him up and when I push him down, okay? So what we have over here is two kind of vertically aligned rows of pistons. The bottom one here is kind of an all or nothing. When it gets its signal, they're all going to retract and then all re-extend. The top one here is a little bit different. So there's a cycle that's going to happen here, and it's going to happen 16 times. And each time it happens, we're going to add 2 doors to the system, one on each side, one on the main side and one on the far secondary village strip over there. So to create our first village, if you remember how village chaining worked, the first step we did was add a door on the red side. Now, you'll also notice here that this second row up here, the top row, is missing a block right here, okay? That's because the first time we pull this lever, we're going to want to have sunlight access to this red strip, okay? The only way these doors on the red strip become active is when both of these blocks are retracted. So the bottom one retracts there. In this case, there's nothing above that one, so that door will become a village if the villager is lowered. So the process on each iteration through now, okay, is to lower the villager, pop this guy for 6 seconds, meaning retract him for 6 seconds, and that's the time, the maximum time it takes to for a villager to register his position with the village system. And you can see it already created a village here, okay? But we wait the full 6 seconds just to be safe. Then these get re-extended, okay? Right after that, then, we send a signal to this system, which I'll show you how to build later, which is going to basically pull 2 pistons back and prepare it for the next iteration. And at the same time, we're going to push our villager up, okay? From there now, we're going to go over to the other side. Alright, so right after the process finishes over on that side, it's going to send a signal along the ground with a little bit of delay on it. And when it gets over here, it's basically going to tell this side, the secondary village line, to repeat the same process for the most part. So the process over here is, there's going to be a detector villager over here. That's what I call them, the detector villagers. I'm going to lower him, and then at the same time, we're going to retract those, and you'll see this one has 2 blocks. It starts 2 blocks in. So just as you remember from the section on village chaining, the first doors connect, and it creates 1 extra village on the side here, okay? And then we're also going to kick him up again. Now, I had lowered that villager over there so it wouldn't time out, but normally he would have been extended, okay? He would have been like that. And right after 60 seconds happens, this village door here now is going to be deregistered because of that timeout I was talking about, which is going to kick both the villages over there. Once that 60 seconds happens, which I'll wait for now. Okay, there it goes. So once that 60-second timer is up and the door is removed from the system, we're free to start the second or the next iteration through the cycle. So we've already removed or pulled back 2 more blocks there, so we can pull our bottom pistons back now. And oh, we've got to have our villager down here. Sorry, I forgot that step. When the villager is down, he registers the doors, just like so. We kick this back over, and we raise our villager back up, and repeat the process. So this guy would, whoops, that guy would be ready for the next iteration. And we would continue that cycle just like that. That's how phase 1 is done. Okay, the automation for phase 2 I'll go over real quick here. So we've got our detector villager down here. He's going to be down for all of phase 2, which means he is in range of these doors along the bottom here. And up at the top, we've got a villager on a minecart. Okay, and the reason we're using a minecart as opposed to another, vertical piston, is because when he needs to be out of range of all these doors, 2 levels of doors. But then when he gets in range, he needs to get in range of all of them. So moving 1 block is insufficient. He's going to need to move a greater vertical distance. So this is what we're going to go with here. Okay. Now phase 2 has 32 iterations, 1 for each village cross slice. So each iteration is going to be, this piston here is going to get pushed forward, which is going to expose light below. That's going to cause this guy here to detect the 9 villages down below. Okay, so there's like a 6-second wait there. Then this villager here is going to drive down into the pit here, and he's going to detect, it won't look like that of course, he's going to detect those 12 villages, which are then going to get added to the village that's already over here. And it's then going to start to look something like what you saw a while ago, where you have the big star pattern in the middle here. Once he detects his doors, he's going to go back up. And as soon as he gets back up top, then the next slice of villages will repeat the process. So there you have it. Those are most of the kind of high-level tricks I use to recreate and reposition these villagers into this Iron Golem farm. Now, there is a downside to this. The time it takes to rebuild this process is just over 20 minutes. Now, I know that might seem like a long time, but you got to keep in mind what we're dealing with here, okay? We've got 32 villages in there producing over 1,300 iron per hour, so it's going to produce more in the first 3 minutes after it's assembled than a traditional farm would have produced during that entire 20-minute period. Alright, let's start building this thing. In this chest here, I've got the resources that you're going to need to build it. Now, this is just an estimate, I will say that. It should be pretty close, though. Definitely use it as a guideline to get started. I will also say that the items listed here, for instance, this spruce wood, obviously you're free to make any cosmetic changes that you want, but adjust the resources accordingly. I'll give a quick mouse over here just so you can kind of see them all in case the items aren't clear. Redstone torches, some stickies, signs, pressure plates, redstone torches, iron door, ice, hopefully you have silk touch, some glowstone. These are the comparators right there, 53. These are droppers, some iron bars. These are all redstone repeaters, hoppers, and then a whole bunch of stone stairs. What I didn't add here, though, are the 2 resources that you need the most of. And that is, you're going to need about 1.2 or almost 1.5 double chests of smooth stone if you want it to look exactly like I have here. It's pretty much, you need a ton. And you're going to need about 25 stacks of the stone slabs, again, if you want it to look exactly how I have it here. Alright, before we get started, I do want to mention that I plan on putting the world download for this world right here in the video description. So if you plan on building this thing, you might want to check that out just to kind of fly around through here and check things out at your own leisure. You might learn a thing or two. Alright, so the first step to this process is obviously figuring out where you want to put it, okay? you're going to want to find a nice open flat area, first of all. The total footprint of this main structure here from edge to edge is 24 along this edge right here and 50 along its length along that edge. Now that does not include the secondary village strip over there, okay? And as with all Iron Golem farms, you're going to want to make sure that there's no doors anywhere else in the area here, okay? You don't want any doors within about 70 blocks of any edge of this structure or 70 blocks of any edge of that structure, okay? Otherwise, it could screw up the system. There are two very important points that need to be made right now. First is about spawn chunks. If it's an option for you, I highly suggest building this in your spawn chunk region. If you build it inside the spawn chunks, then it's always going to keep producing iron even when nobody's nearby. And the only exception to that is if everyone in the world goes to another dimension at the same time. And likewise, that's going to be the only time when this thing has to kick off its automatic reassembly process. So you're going to get a lot more uptime and a lot more net iron produced. And conversely, if you don't build it inside the spawn chunk, it's going to stop producing iron soon as there's nobody nearby and the chunks unload. And also, it's going to, when someone does come back into the region, it's going to cause the automation process to re-kick in again. So build it in your spawn chunks if it's an option. If you don't know what your spawn chunks are, or you're not 100% certain where they're located in your world, there's two things. One, QueenKingHappy has a great video out there that talks all about spawn chunks and how you can kind of locate them and a lot of tricks you can do with them as well. I definitely recommend you checking out that video. I'll put a link in the video description. Or, as an alternative, if you want a mod that's going to very clearly show you where the spawn chunk regions are, then our friend KaboPC has taken care of that as well with a mod that will help you easily find your spawn chunks. Both of those links will be in the video description. Alright, the second point that needs to be made here is a very critical one. This Iron Golem farm needs to be oriented a specific way. And what I mean by that is this face that you're looking at right here, the one with the golem killing device on it, has to be on the north side of your structure, okay? And you can find out where north is by bringing up F3. You can see west, there's north. So I'm facing north right now with my back to it, so that makes this the north side of the structure. And also the secondary village strip over there is going to be west of your main structure. Both of those are critical. If you don't do that, then a lot of the piston timings work on that assumption and they will fail. So make sure you get that right. Alright, I've got two gold blocks there on the ground. You can see they represent the northern edge of the 24 by 50 footprint that we had just talked about. So what we're going to do is from that edge, we're going to come in on the 11th block is going to be this structure. We're going to build this crazy structure here, okay? And what this is a cross-slice view of the entire Iron Trench structure. So what we're going to do is build this out and then clone it 31 times in this direction, going to the south. And what that's going to do is kind of provide the main structure for the entire thing. So what I'm going to do is go over all of this in a lot of detail, make sure you understand exactly where all these blocks are, what the spacings are and everything, because we really don't want to make a mistake on this section, okay? So, coming in, first thing we're going to do is come in, on the 5th block from the edge one there. We're going to start adding some stone here, okay? We're going to need 5 villages right here. There's a 1 block gap right there. There's going to be a 2 block gap, and then 4 more villages, and then 2 more blocks of dead space, okay? Now this right here, and this over here on the end, they're just cosmetic. You know, if you want, you can go straight to the ground like so or whatever. It doesn't really matter, okay? On top of that now is a row of stone. This is a sticky piston here, pushing out to the outside, okay, with a dot of redstone on top. So when this is all said and done, we're going to have a full row of stickies and a full row of redstone right adjacent to it. Carry the stone all the way across to the other side. Pretty straightforward. Next we got a 2 block gap before we hit our first glass row there, and then after that another 1 before we have another glass there, okay? And then just mirror it on the other side. Coming over here, we've got a 3 block gap before another sticky piston facing into the exterior wall just like so. Up another 2, and you got your 2 stone slabs right there, okay? So I should say that that platform, that, and that are the 4 spawning platforms that our golems are going to spawn on. Now this one we're kind of cutting short right now because there's going to be some complex redstone that happens right in here, and we probably end up having to break this anyway, so we'll just carry this out to the wall later. The end tip of each of the spawning platforms is going to be an iron bar, and that's there basically to, if 2 golems spawn on opposing streams and meet perfectly in the middle, there is a very slim chance that they can kind of bind each other up and get stuck there. The bars make it so that they'll eventually just kind of wiggle the way around and fall down. Now I do know that iron golems can't spawn on the bars themselves, but when you really look at the algorithm for how iron golems spawn, it's pretty much a negligible inefficiency, and it cleans up the clogging very effectively. So these spawning platforms are 8 wide, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the 8th is the iron bar, as I mentioned. A couple slabs there, and these are to hold the water back. You're going to go up 4 blocks from there, and so there's a 4-block gap between the 2 spawning platforms. Again, iron bars on the ends of those as well. More slabs here, again to hold the water back. This right here, this whole strip is optional. It really comes down to whether or not you want a roof on the on your spawning platforms or not. That's all it's really there for, is cosmetics or aesthetics. Over here is the same thing. This is all going to be optional. Obviously, though, the iron doors here now. So again, going up 4 blocks like so, and coming in, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 again. And then over here we've got 4 doors, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gap there. And then right on top of those doors, we've got another 5 doors there, going all the way to the end right there. And then over here we've got 3 doors, okay? On top of that now, we're going to carry the stone all the way over. And this is the roof of the whole structure here, really, okay? And there's going to be a lot of redstone up here. This controls all of the phase 2 of the assembly process, which we'll go into a lot of detail later. But for right now, this is the stuff that can be tiled the length of the structure. So go ahead and place an ice block there, 3 blocks in, like so, or a 3-block gap, I should say, with a slab underneath right here. This slab is here just in case the ice melts. It'll stop the flow. It's pretty much optional. 2 blocks on either side of the ice, like so. Over here we got a hopper, and so there's going to be a whole line of hoppers. Now the hoppers need to be chained together and feeding in the direction going south. So if I put an item here, they'll all feed to the south. With a dot of redstone, so there's going to be a line of redstone on top of all your hoppers. Coming out of all the hoppers, you're going to have a comparator pointing out into a sticky piston that is then going to control. This is kind of the master sky block here, okay? So when this gets pushed out, this will grant sky access to all the 21 village doors as we described in the other section. I should note, just for clarity, that this block right here is the one that's directly, under the sky block. As you see, I look straight up and see it. So just an FYI, that's another check you can do to make sure things are lining up correctly. So that should do it. Double check everything, make sure you're correct here. These on the side here are just the beginnings of a roof. I specifically did not add a roof. I don't even have one in my final design for a couple reasons. One, you're probably never even going to be able to see up here, and 2, it's nice to be able to chuck an ender pearl up here and be able to work on the redstone. So that's going to do it, guys. What you're going to do is build that out. Again, double check everything, make sure it's fine, and then clone it 31 more times to the south, and you should end up with something like this. Alright, so what I'm going to do is give a fly through of this area just to make sure we got the major components in the right sections. Make sure nothing that was supposed to tile all the way back was missed or something like that. But you'll see you had a lot of doors here, so I'm sure you went and chopped a whole bunch of trees if you're doing this in survival. But yeah, go ahead and torch the whole thing up. It's just, you don't want monsters spawning in here at this point. We got our glass columns. These are here to keep it so when the golems fall down, they won't land on these platforms here. They'll stay and fall all the way through. These are the spawning platforms again with the iron bars. Likewise up here, and then all of our village doors. Go ahead and light all that up down there. And then the roof section here that we talked about, all the redstone. There's going to be some redstone all in here and stuff. And then this is our, well, we'll get into it all later. But yeah, it should look basically like this at this point. Alright, next what we need to do is extend our spawning platforms out 8 blocks to kind of give them like wings that stick out. So go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now the spawning platforms are going to be extended out that far, and then just kind of carry it around and square it off down there. These are going to come straight across like so, not like that, like so. So just go ahead and square that all off, and then carry the slabs around the perimeter as well. And you're going to do that you're going to do that 4 times, twice on each end of both platforms. And when you're done, it should look something like this. You should have 2 little wings sticking out for both spawning platforms, with your slabs carried out across around the perimeter like so. There you go. Okay, this is me from the future, guys. I am here injecting a correction real quick. I just want to clarify it is 8 blocks of surface here and then the border. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the slab border. Okay, just a correction. Okay, next on the north side of the structure, we're going to extend the trench out a little bit. So on both sides here, extend the trench out 4 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep it 3 blocks high so that it's even with the doors like so. And then come out front here and add 1 more block in this shape here of whatever aesthetic block you please. Okay, next you're going to add 10 signs to the walls here, 5 on each side in this pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 below. Same on the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 below. Next you're going to add a couple of stone pressure plates. You're going to add them 2 on the ground just like that, even with the last door like so. After that, now you're going to add some hoppers on the ground. This is where the iron is going to go. So punch out those blocks there. Take out your block there like so. Put a hopper on the ground there, and now holding shift, just start chaining these all together so that basically wherever the item or wherever the iron drops, it's going to funnel out underneath there. And then go ahead and replace that block. Alright, next you pretty much just need to decorate this front panel here in any way you want. The only thing I would say is don't go over this line right here. Keep everything over on this side. So if we're following what I'm doing, or if you're following what I'm doing, I am following what I'm doing. Come out 8 more blocks here. Alright, so that you're 2 away from the border right there, from the edge of the exterior of the footprint. And that's how far your your front face should come out. And the reason for that is because right here, like so, is going to be those wooden support beams that go all the way up to the roof, like that. They keep going up. So you've got this space here, and then mirror on the other side. Now the design I go with is on this side I do a little door and a staircase up just to get in here to access all the redstone. And then over here, this space in here is jam-packed with redstone for both an item elevator and the item silo system that I invented a couple months ago now. And we'll get into all those later. But here's how I decorate the front. Alright, here we go. Nothing too crazy. I'll give you a good look at what I've done though. Like so. If you want to pause it and copy it, it's obviously you can. If not, I encourage you guys to do whatever you want to do. This right here are the lamps for the item silo, which we'll go into later. Stack them 8 high all the way up to the, I'll just stack them 8 high. They go up to the slabs there for me. And I got a chest here, item frame, that's a backwards stairs behind it. Over here, iron door, access door. Make sure you do an iron door, don't do a wooden door, you'll be very sad. And just a little staircase access to get up to the platform up here, because there'll be a lot of redstone back in there. Other than that, that's it. You want to make sure that as you do this, your straight wall there is 4 blocks from the wall we created before, just to let you know you'll be good there. I threw a couple pillars out here in the front, a little design with the slabs. That's pretty much the plan here. Back here, like I said, backwards stair, and then make that a double chest. This is where the item silo and the item hopper system are going to be. Okay, now over on the south side of the structure, we're going to build a little platform here. So from the height in the main area there, drop down one right here next to the piston, and pretty much just pull this out so that it evens out with the spawning platform wing there. You can bring some pillars down, whatever you want here. But what this is for is this is going to be completely loaded with redstone that controls all of the phase 1 timings, doing the village chaining back and forth, okay? So you're going to want to do this here. I wouldn't recommend closing it up or anything yet because you're going to be in and out of here a lot. Next, from the south side still, come into the inner area here, looking at the exterior wall there, and leave a 1 block gap from the ceiling there and come down right there. And whatever block of choice you want here, you're going to place 16 of them running along this wall like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And now under that 16th block, punch a hole through the wall right there. Now swing around to the other side of the hole that you just punched through the wall. You should be on the east side of the structure at this point. And what we're going to build is the 1 villager basket that's going to hang off the side here for a bunch of villagers to sit in so that we can spawn the appropriate number of golems. So go ahead and build this little kind of add-on that I've done here. I'll show you as best I can from all the angles. A couple rows of upside down stairs, pulling it out 2. Another full row right there. And this is in 2 there. Nothing special on the other side, just the same thing. And then, yeah, like so. So what you're going to do now is put glass right there, okay? And then behind the glass is going to be lava, and on top of the lava is going to be iron bars. Now the villagers are going to sit directly on top of the iron bars. And the reason we're doing this iron bar lava combo is because now that they changed the hitbox of baby villagers, if for whatever reason, and they shouldn't in this system, but if for whatever reason the villagers decide to breed, the babies will fall through the bars and meet an instant fiery death, which is very, very sad, of course. But from there then, go ahead and place another block, and you can fill this out. Let's say you probably want to just do, it doesn't really matter how you do this, it's up to you. It's really just whatever you feel looks the best. Yeah, so go with something like that, and then if you want, once you get your villagers in there, you can kind of cap it out like this. We'll talk about getting the villagers in there later though, okay? Now I should also mention, it's important that these villagers are at the right height, so double check that the bars, the surface of the bars, is even with the surface of the spawning pad here. And I'll break this just to kind of show you that they'll be standing on the exact same Y coordinate as the spawning pad here, okay? Alright, the next thing we're going to talk about on the north side again is the item storage. So you're definitely going to need some kind of bulk storage system, because if you just take the items from these hoppers and dump them into a single double chest, this iron farm is going to fill an entire double chest in just over 2 hours. So that's not doing much for you. So what I've got here, and again, this is optional, is my silo system, which you may have seen the video for, but the concept is you have a single point of access here, but it's kind of virtual access to as many chests as you want to stack. In this case, I have 8, 1 for each light. So if I take some items out, you'll see they're automatically replenished by items that are kind of in the back storage there. Each light here represents another full double chest that's full in the back. So it's kind of a handy way to store a lot of items, okay? So back here, I've already got it all together. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here for sake of video length, which is already going to be a long one, but there's basically 2 distinct systems here. First one here, which you're looking at right here, is an item elevator. And I went exactly with ACTennisAC's design. There's a link in the video description. He's got a pretty good item elevator system I went with, and this is it. So if you want to know how to build this, just go ahead and check that video link in the description. After that is a chain of hoppers here that dumps over into my item silo system, or rather a slight variation of it, but check out my video for the concepts behind it, and it'll make a lot of sense, and you'll probably be able to configure it to work in here as needed. And then down here, just as a little heads up, those are the 4 hoppers obviously that we had, and then I go down 1, and then there's 4 hoppers here all chained together, and then the last one there goes into the dropper for the item elevator. Okay, so you will need some kind of storage system, but it's up to you what you want that to be. Alright, next you can add your lava blades. So come down to where your signs are, come against the back one right here, and put 1 there and 1 there, 2 lava sources, and they'll flow right over to the edge of your sign. These are going to be the lava blades that obviously kill your iron golems. I raised this up one more block here, so you can come in here and just add some glass if you want, or a solid block, just to make sure that you don't fall down in there. Okay, it's time to add the water to this thing now. So head down to the other end of your trench now and add 2 blocks like so to the ground right there, and then 2 water source blocks. Let them flow out, and then right where it ends, add 2 stone pressure plates, and then 2 more water source blocks right on the other side of that, and continue that down to the end. The last water source block is going to stop right at that pressure plate that we added special, and then just add 2 more there. This one's going to be a short one, but that's why we have this bottom sign here to catch it, and that's going to push them right onto this hopper there. Alright, next we're going to build the 4 large wooden pillars on each side, on each of the corners of the main structure here, okay? These have a shape that's like this. I don't even know how to describe that, so just that's the shape. The key thing to note though is that this side here there's 5 blocks from the end of the spawn pad there. So from that spawn pad there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6th one is the first block in this set. And go ahead and build these all the way up. And when you get to this height, so that's probably a good idea to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. Okay, just like this. Now the 2 on the west side of the structure are going to be open, so I'd probably recommend, actually, good idea to put a ladder in here as a way to kind of get up to the various levels and do some work. You might even want to build these pillars sooner just for that purpose alone. The 2 on the east side are going to have redstone signals in them, so leave them open for now, but again, come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that's the first one right there. Okay, so go ahead and do that on all 4 corners. Okay, once your 4 pillars are in, you're going to want to head up to the roof and extend this floor out to the edge of the outside of the pillar on both sides, and fill all this in, and then down on the this floor right here, you're going to want to do the same thing. Fill all this in like so, etc., and all the walls and everything. You can put a window here on the outside if you want, but get that all filled in. And then down here you got some half slabs. Keep that double row going all the way around like so. And when you're done, the outside should look something like that. And the inside should look something like this. You should have a nice little walkway all around your doors here. And obviously do the whole same thing, repeat the same thing on the other side as well. Alright, let's talk about getting some villagers into the villager basket on the side here. So the easiest way to do this, because I know getting villagers around is a pain in the butt, the easiest way to do this now is to come up here and drop a block of sand in there, and then build up your glass around the edge, 1 more block like that. These 4 you just added are temporary, as is the sand. If you get just 2 villagers in there, like so, okay, then get 1 more villager up on your roof. You want to put him, just make a little, temporary holding area for him, again, like so, just somewhere in the middle, it doesn't really matter, and get 1 villager in there, okay? Now, these ceiling blocks here, if you break 8 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it really doesn't matter which 8, just somewhere in the area like that. What you just did is you utilized your existing structure and you created an infinite village spawner, okay? Well, not infinite, actually. These guys will stop breeding. They should stop breeding at about 20 or 21 or 22 or so, and that's exactly how many you want. That's why we broke 8 doors up there, or 8 blocks in the roof up there. So you can always know how many are in here, in case you don't know, by standing here and just looking directly at them. You'll see right now I have 2 in there, the little E in my F3 window there. When that's over 20, you want to get at least 21, maybe 22 in there to be safe, and then you're done. Okay, when you're done, go ahead and come down here and simply break that sand, replace the glass, and then break the 4 pieces of glass up top there. Come up back up to your villager, up to the roof rather. Kill this villager here, kill his structure, and then remember to replace the blocks like so that you took out there, okay? Okay, it's time to start some redstone. This first part is going to cover all the redstone for the phase 1 timing mechanisms. And now, with all the redstone for the rest of this tutorial, there's going to be some points where I might just show a completed subsection of a piece of redstone and not actually do it piece by piece. And this is in order just to save some time on the parts that should be fairly straightforward. Okay, head inside and then all the way up to the front side, to the north side. What we're going to do is start building our missing golem detector. It's going to be a system that if a golem does not pass through the system in a certain amount of time, it's going to detect that and fire off the automated restart process, okay? So from the corner here, come in 6 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then in the 7th block, I'm going to put a sticky piston facing that way, okay, right up against the wall. What we're going to build here is a Etho hopper timer. If you guys haven't seen his tutorial on how to do this, you should definitely go check it out. I'll have a link in the description. It's an extremely flexible timing system, and I have 4 of them in this design so far. All right, this is what it looks like. You got 2 hoppers pointing into each other. Hold shift and point them into each other. And then the whole thing is pretty much mirrored. From out of the hoppers, you have a comparator into a solid block. Next to that, just a single dot of redstone. This is the initial piston or sticky piston that we placed. Have a 2-gap space in between there with another sticky piston facing toward it, and then put a redstone block in between the two. And then repeat the process over here: comparator, block, and dust. And then inside there, this determines how long your timing system will run for. So in this case, we want to put 82 blocks, and you'll notice right away it starts ticking, and this will generate pulses at the frequency we want. Okay, next from the left hopper, skip a block, put a block there, go up 1, over 1, and down on an angle like so. Take a redstone torch and put it on the side of the block underneath like that, and then another one on the side over there up on top. Up on top of it, you're going to put 3 dust like so. Take a repeater and run it into the side, put it on 4 ticks. Take a redstone torch, put it on the side of the hopper timer system. That's going to generate our pulse every time the hopper timer goes through 2 iterations, and then just put 2 dust like so. Okay, next, from directly underneath where the torch is, skip a block there and put a block like so, and then 3 more. So we should have 4 blocks coming down like that. Take 2 redstone torches and put them on top like that. Connect them with dust, and then put dust there and there. Okay, what we're doing here is making an AND gate, and this is basically going to control this line right here. Whoops. This line right there, when that gets activated, that's the positive signal that the system should reset. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is hook up that stone pressure plate to the RS NOR latch we just built. So from over there, skip a block and build a little staircase down like so. You'll notice you're on the level with all of your doors, and then go down 3 more, 1, 2, 3, and then verify that you're in line with the end row of doors. And now from there, you're going to go in 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the 5th one, just punch out the bottom one like that, otherwise you're going to get a water leak. And then go ahead and run redstone all the way back up, directly into the side of the RS NOR latch. Now, the way to test it is to wait for that torch right there to be off, jump in, touch your pressure plate, and verify that it turns on, okay? Alright, next, from the output of the AND gate, from that torch right there, run a little line. And this is an optional step. This is if you want to play a little music tune or whatever, when the system thinks... There you go. If you want to play an optional little tune when the system thinks it should reset, then build something like this with just a bunch of repeaters connecting them, put them all on 4 ticks, and play your happy little merry tune. Here's mine. Beautiful, isn't it? I know, I know. And then from there, just run the signal down. Alright, next we're going to be moving on to the platform down here. The first thing you want to do is verify that this platform is 9 by 20. If it's not, then there was a mistake made somewhere, so you should double check. Okay, so next we're going to run our line from the note blocks down here like so. If you didn't do the note blocks, you're probably going to need a repeater or something to keep it alive. And then build this here. This is another little gate here, and this is going to make sure that the system does not allow a reset if it's already actively building, okay? So 3 blocks, torch on top, torch on the side over there, couple dust like that. Just run that line right in like so. There you go. And I should mention that this button here now is going to be your master reset switch. Anytime you want to manually trigger the automation process, just go ahead and press this button. While we're building this system, I don't want it to be resetting on me, or I don't want resets to be triggered, so I'm just going to break that dust there for now and put a couple purple wool there just as an obnoxious reminder that that needs to be fixed. Alright, next, from the top of the gate up there, skip 2 blocks, and we're going to put a dropper facing in like that. Make sure it's a dropper, not a dispenser. Take a hopper and shift click right into the side so that the hopper points back into the side, okay? Now from here, take 6 blocks of whatever you're working with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then put another one right there. Now you want to take a comparator and put it right there facing into that block, and then put a torch on top of that block and a torch on the side. From there you want to take some dust and go boom, 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 and then run it around that torch like so. Should look like this. Alright, for the next step you're going to come off the side of the hopper like right there and take some dust and run it down into the torch there. Take a repeater and right next to it jam it into that block. You can leave it on the default tick setting. Take dust, put 1 dust right there, and then we're going to make another vertical RS NOR latch. 2 up, 1 over, and then 1 on an angle like so. Put a torch underneath on the side like that, and a torch on the side top up there, and then dust, dust, dust. And now over here, off of this torch there, just put a couple there and feed power into the side like that. Alright, next we're going to build another hopper timer system here. Just like the other ones before, make sure the 2 hoppers are pointing into each other, comparators coming out into a block, single dust, sticky piston, and redstone block, another sticky piston, and just the same thing over here. As you're facing it, make sure this right hopper lines up with that torch underneath, and now go over to the block that's just in between them and place a repeater and put it on 3 ticks. Now over here, if this dust on top is not on, which it probably isn't right now, just go ahead and throw a torch down here to flip the RS NOR, and then come over here into the hopper timer you just did, and in the right hopper here, the way I'm facing, you're going to place 64 and 24 blocks, and then over here you're going to place 2, just like that. Alright, next, coming off the block on the side of the hopper timer, put a redstone torch, take some dust and put it there. Now I've dug a little 3-block long trench. Go ahead and run the redstone into the trench and back out. Now we're going to build a bridge over that trench from there, there, and there, going right through the middle of it, and then run dust across the top. And it should look like that. Alright, next we're going to build our pulse lengthener for that signal right there coming off of the torch. So first thing is take a repeater, bring it out like that, and put it on 2 ticks. Put that into a block, and then diagonally from that, like so, you're going to put another block. Put a torch there and a torch there, and then take your dust and go like so and like so. Put up 1 more dust over here. Now you're going to take repeaters and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Some dust, some more repeaters, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another one right there. Set all these repeaters now to 4 ticks. Okay, some more dust right there. 1 more repeater, 4 ticks. Into a block, and then go up another block on an angle, and then bring this little bridge along all the way like so. 1 more there, carry it back another, so it's 3 along there, and then down 1 there. Now we're going to go dust, dust, and we're going to do 3 repeaters. Whoops. 1, 2, 3. Couple more dust to loop it back. 1 more repeater, and then 2 dust there, and then 1 down below, like so. I'll give a little fly around here because this is sometimes hard to see. You got your 1 repeater down there. All these repeaters are on 4 ticks. Alright, next we're going to take diamond blocks, and yes, unfortunately they do need to be diamond blocks. Take those and just start running these down. You're going to need a ton of them, so just keep going until you realize that I'm totally just pulling your leg right now. Alright, next, off of the pulse length that we just did, off of that torch there, you're going to take 2 dust like so, okay? Then you're going to take a repeater, put it like that, all the way on 4 ticks. And then going into the side of it, you're going to lock that repeater with another one right like that. Take some dust and go boom, 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 boom. Take a block, put it right there. I lied, make that a repeater. There you go. That can stay on default ticks. And then down here, you'll see I made some little stairs going down. So just go ahead and take this dust right here and run it down to the ground. We're going to take care of that in just a little bit. Alright, next, moving over to the raised platform now. Starting at the end, we're going to count 16 blocks in that direction. So, 1, starting with the end one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Come in 1 block, place an upward facing sticky piston, Place a block on top of it. Now take some glass and encase that like so. And then go up one more on top of it too. So you should have a little 1x2 hole in there, and go ahead and get a villager in there. How you do that is up to you. What this guy is he is our lower level villager or detector villager. He's going to be responsible for detecting these doors down here and also from removing them from the village system as described in the how it works section. Alright, for the next step, take a redstone torch and put it right on top of that block there. It's going to power all your pistons. Follow that signal down and find the first redstone block here that is not powered, in this case this one here, and break it, put a block on top of it, and then get another one coming off on an angle like so. Put some dust on top of that block. Then you'll see I have a little 4 wide trench or gap dug here. Go ahead and do that, and then do a sticky piston, redstone block on top of it, and then a dust right there. Put a block right there with some dust on top of it. Next to that, you're going to place an upward facing sticky piston, block on top of it, and a block there with a repeater coming out of there facing down. Put that on 2 ticks. Alright, next, starting directly next to the repeater you just placed, put a block, and then you're going to start creating this zigzag vertical pattern here like so. And on top of all those blocks, place redstone running all the way down. Alright, down at the other end now. You should see that this redstone signal that is coming down your lower pistons, the last one is not powered. That's good because we don't need it. So go ahead and take back these pistons here. You don't need them either. Break those blocks like so, and then outside there, make sure you put a block right there, okay? Then cover things back up like so. And likewise up top here, you can just steal that piston and take it back. And down here, the zigzag you just made, it can end 1 block in at a high block like so. Alright, next back at the other end again. On top of each of your lower blocks in the zigzag, and starting with the repeater right here, we're going to add upward facing sticky pistons with blocks on top of each like so. And go ahead and send that all the way down. Now, just before each of those blocks that you put on top of the sticky pistons, go ahead and add another block in front of it. I recommend using a different block, something like that. And then on top of each one of those, put a repeater and put them all on 2 ticks. So another block in front, repeater, 2 ticks, and carry that all the way down. Alright, flipped around on the other side now. We're going to make a 2 wide path of blocks, starting right there. Push it over to there, and then just carry these 2 all the way down like so. Alright, this first piston here, you don't need it, so go ahead and reclaim it. Now, next to each block that does not have a repeater, go ahead and put another block there, put some dust on top of it, and put a redstone torch there and there on both sides, and then take a repeater and put it right into the piston like so on default ticks, okay? And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way down. So a block that has no repeater, put another block there, put some dust, put 2 torches, and put a repeater facing in. And keep that pattern going all the way down. Alright, down at the other end, I just want to show you what the end should look like in case you're curious. It should end up looking like this. And again, the last row here where there's villager doors has nothing on it. Okay, over at your detector villager now, find the block in this zigzag pattern that is even with that piston, and now just before it, put a piston, or not a piston, a repeater in there, leave it on default ticks, and break that dust right there. And now it's important that you come all the way up to the top here and find the repeater that's directly above the one you just added and set that to 3 ticks. Alright, about halfway from the start of this raised platform down to your detector villager, go about halfway, it doesn't really matter as long as you're somewhere in the middle here, and find that signal underneath that's powering your lower pistons through one of these holes in the zigzag and bring that power underneath like so. Then we're going to go ahead and build a simple AND gate here. So go ahead and make an L shape like that with some blocks. Put 2 torches like that, some dust in the middle, and then put a torch on the side of that block like that. And then take some dust and run it directly into your piston like so. Okay, take this line right here and put some dust like so. Put a block right there, torch on top of it, and then dust all the way into that AND gate you just made, like so. On top of that torch that we just added, we're going to run some vertical redstone up. So block, redstone torch, block, redstone torch, and then run a little line 3 blocks over here with some dust on top into that repeater. Next, we're going to run some more vertical redstone next to your hopper dropper combo over here. That torch right there, we're going to run some vertical up. So go block, redstone torch, block, redstone torch, and then run a line of blocks this way until you get even up with the blocks I had you add before. And then on the other side, we're going to run redstone dust along that whole path we just made. So take it all the way down. You're going to need to use 2 repeaters here to keep the process going. Keep taking it down, keep taking it down. Then I extended that that kind of walkway or whatever it is up there. Another repeater right there. And then bring it down, step it down like so. And then this block right here I removed and lowered, and then that signal tied into the signal that's coming up from below. So it should look like that. Alright, the only thing left is to cap off this glass right here. So you have an end cap. This prevents the golems that are falling. Some of them would otherwise fall right there, and that would cause a lot of problems. And then just go ahead and repeat the process down here at the end with the lava. And congratulations! That's going to wrap it up for the redstone for the lower half of the main building. Most of this stuff does all the timing for phase 1, all that craziness, but this was the hardest part. We have 2 pieces left to go, though, that are pretty big. We have to build the secondary structure over there with the secondary villages, and then we have to do the redstone on the roof. But I'm going to try and go quick, and we will be done soon. Okay, it's time to start working on the secondary village strip over there, so let's come down here, and what we're going to do is knock out whatever kind of nonsense you got going on here, and find this first door here in the line, this first door right here, and stand in the block that door is in, okay? Make sure you're in the same block. Then you're going to pull up your F3 coordinates and note your X position, and also note your Y position at this point. Write them down. What you're going to do is go west, and hopefully this is west for you. If it's not, we got issues. You're going to subtract 64 from the X coordinate, okay? And go 64 in that direction. And once you're over there, go ahead and add a block or do whatever it is you need to do to make the Y coordinates match up with what the Y coordinate of that door was over there. Grab a stack of 31 blocks, whatever you used for this block right here. Grab 31 more and just run them all down like this, going north until you have 32 total. Go up 3 more blocks like so and punch out the middle 2. Now going toward the main structure, add 4 more blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now going away from the main structure, add 5 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you got a line of blocks there, 10 long. You're going to take these and just run this all the way down, even with the strip here. And you should have some that looks like this, okay? Now what you're going to do is on that bottom strip there, you're going to start adding doors on top of each one of them. And as with all doors in this entire tutorial, it doesn't matter what way they're facing. All that matters is the block that they're in. Alright, on top of that platform with my back to the main structure now, I'm going to add a row of sticky pistons, one in facing like so. And then you're going to add whatever block you want in front of all of them. Add another block behind, like that, and some redstone on top, and then send that all the way down. Okay, a lot of the things you're going to see over here now are just pretty much exact copies of what we did over there, only reversed. And this is the first one, so add a block right there, put a torch down, run down to the last place where the sticky piston is extended, find the one that's the first one that's dead, remove it, put a block on it, put another block up like that, dust on top, and then next to this block right here, put a sticky piston out like so, redstone block, and dust down there, okay? Should look like that. Okay, add a block up like that on an angle, put some dust on it, right next to it, add a vertically pointing sticky piston, block on top of it, block over here coming out the other side, now a repeater coming out of that piston, put it on 2 ticks like so. What we're going to do now is pretty much rebuild that zigzag kind of contraption that controlled those top pistons over there. We're going to rebuild it over here just reversed. So go ahead and start with the zigzag pattern and put redstone dust on top of all of it and run it all the way down. Then add your upward facing sticky pistons with a block on top of them, like so. Okay, run your blocks in between, put the repeaters on top, and set all the repeaters to 2 ticks. The exception here is these first 2 repeaters need to be on 1 tick, just the default minimum setting there, okay? The first 2, that's important. Now you're going to build your 2 wide platform coming out so that it starts on that second repeater, come out 2 there, and then carry this all the way down. Then you're going to repeat this pattern again all the way down. Repeaters all on default setting. Every 2 blocks the pattern repeats. And I forgot to mention on this last block here, you'll notice it doesn't have power. Go ahead and take that dust out and put a block there, and you may need to just replace the dust, update the signal, and then that last piston will have power. Next, we're going to add sticky pistons right in front, going all the way down like so, and then add block of your choice onto the front of those. Carry it all the way down to the end. Alright, around the back side, find your redstone block and put another block next to it. Take a repeater and put it on that one, facing that way. Leave it on the default tick setting. Come up and break the dust above it right there, and then come all the way up right above it and add 1 more tick to that repeater to take it to 3. Now, from the block you just added for that repeater, come out 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 in this direction, and add an upward facing sticky piston. Put a block on top of it, and you guessed it, this is going to be our detector villager spot. So just go ahead and build that up. Make sure you build it up 3 though, so that he doesn't jump out when he's in the up position. And get your villager in there, like so. And then if you're a little nervous, you can go ahead and cap it. Alright, we're going to extend this platform here now a little bit. So bring this out 11 more blocks, both sides, and fill it in. Alright, so I went ahead and added a bunch of stuff here. I'm going to go over it all now. So from the block with the torch on it, skip 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th one is where this stuff starts. So there's that block there. What we have here is a dropper on its side pointing into that hopper, and the hopper, as you can see, is pointing into the dropper. Okay, run a little signal here. We'll pick that up in a little bit. We have comparators coming out of both the dropper and the hopper, both into solid blocks, and they're on the back side. Torch. Move over 1 and run 4 dust down and into this block here. This is just another RS NOR latch, so torch, torch, 2 dust there, 2 dust there. Don't forget this one right here to power the hopper. And then over here we got another torch there with 2 dust running into that block there. Inside the dropper, go ahead and add 16 blocks of your choice. Okay, knock out a couple blocks right here and make a little staircase down like so. Send it down and then dig 2 blocks down like this, okay? And then all the way across, 2 blocks down. You're just going to put a ton of repeaters. They're all facing that way, west, and they're all on 4 ticks. And this connects up with the line we had coming down here before. Next, take the line up from the stairs and split it like this. Loop it around and put a repeater into that block right there, like so. From this line right here, gonna go over 2 like that, and then 1 that way, 2 blocks high, 1 block over, put a torch underneath like so, and 1 on top up there, and some dust down there. Okay, on top of what we just built, add 2 dust. I forgot that, so add that now. And then after that, we're going to build yet another hopper timer here. This is our 3rd one, so you should be getting good at building them. two hoppers facing into each other, comparators facing out, block, dust, sticky piston, and a redstone block in the middle. And then take some dust and put it right there. Alright, next we need to flop this RS NOR latch, so just break that torch and throw it back. Make sure that there's a power right there into that hopper. Then facing this way, on the left hopper, you're going to add 33 blocks, and on the right hopper, you're going to add 2 blocks, like so. Moving along, we're going to go ahead and add a dropper right on top of that torch, only it's going to be facing out like that. And shift clicking a hopper, put a hopper right into the dropper. And then over here, you're going to make a little stair step like that. And the dust from over here, run it up toward the hopper like that. Alright, add a block here, take a comparator, and bring it out of the dropper like so. Go up another block like that. Take a torch on the side, and then we're going to go right on top of the torch. Over here, then we're going to take this up one and connect these together, okay? So that it looks like this. I'll kind of fly around here so you can see it from all angles. And we're going to put some dust on all those right there. No dust on this one right here. And in the dropper here, go ahead and place 20 blocks of your choice. Alright, next, skip a block here, add one there, put a torch on top of it, dust behind it, connecting them. Take a repeater coming out of that block like so. Put a block there, and then another torch there to invert the signal. And then just run some dust and connect it up to our piston, like that. Next, we're going to put a block on top of that torch we just added. Then stair step up a little bit, stair step up a little bit more, and then up here, block, 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 and run dust to connect it all like so. And moving on. Okay, find this block right here, and we're going to put some dust right behind it like that. And then we're going to run dust down below all those other blocks and into that last block that we just added right there. So, just so you can see better, runs down below everything and comes out of there. Now we're going to run a little bit of vertical wiring again. On top of that torch, put a block, torch, block, and then we need a block on an angle like so, and then just put some dust on it. There you go. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the secondary village trip. I didn't make any effort to kind of make this look good. I'm going to leave that up to you. You know, you can encase it in a building or something if you want to make it match that style over there, or you know, if this is just on the ground, you can kind of terraform over it and just make a hill or something like that. But the only thing I will say is, wherever you see these blocks right here, they have to have sky access. Okay, so that means no blocks above any of these in this strip. With the exception, you can put glass up there if you want. Like if you are going to build a hill over it, it's okay to put a strip of glass. But for the most part, don't put any blocks above that line. Alright, now we're going to start the section for all the roof redstone for phase 2 controlling. First thing we're going to do is come over here and run a pair of vertical redstone signals up. Now I've got this these 2 block outer piece of the wooden pillar here pulled away just so we could see. So the first thing we're going to do is that signal we left over there before, we're going to go ahead and put a block right there and put a torch on top of it. And then that's the pattern we're going to be repeating all the way up to the top, like so. And now next to that one, we're going to be building another vertical signal that's going to be kind of offset by 1 block. So first thing we're going to do is come down 2 blocks like so and put some dust there and there. And now we'll take another block of your choice, and it's going to go so that they're all offset like that. And then again, torches all the way up the top. So you should see a pattern like this going up. Alright, if you did it correctly, it should look something like this. And then up at the top, you should have a torch on the left like that. And on the right, there should be torch, but you should be seeing just a block right there. If so, go ahead and add some dust, 4 dust in a pattern like that, and then build this kind of setup here, a little S pattern with 2 torches, dust in the middle, and a torch, redstone torch on the side of that block there. Repeater facing this way on 4 ticks, and then take blocks and build a little ramp up like this with 6 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like so. Alright, coming off the corner of that last block right there, we're going to dig a 3x3 like so, poking a hole down to the levels below. Now go down in that hole a little bit, and we're going to ramp down a little bit like so. So you have a 2-step down, build the platform like that, and then step it back up so that it's down, down, and then a little L pattern there, and then up, up. Okay? Alright, go ahead and just kind of enclose that hole a little bit more, like so. And then come out and carry that ramp up there, keep it going for 3 more blocks like so. 1, 2, 3. And then the 4th one should be double high like that, so it should look like this. Now you're going to run a small minecart track up the ramp you just built. So starting at the bottom, you have powered, regular rail, powered, 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 regular, and then powered at the top, okay? And then put a lever right here and turn it on to power all 3 of the middle powered ones. Alright, go ahead and get a villager in a minecart on this track now, like so. I know that's going to be a pain. You know, as with all villager relocation tasks on this project, use your best judgment. You know, it might make sense to do something to get this guy up here waiting for you before we even get to this point. It all really depends on how you're getting your villagers to this system, but be smart and you might be able to save yourself a lot of time and headaches. After that, just take some dust and run it down like so, and you're all set there. Now, the important thing is this 3x3 hole we dug here, you definitely need to cover that up with more blocks up above, okay? Basically preventing sky access, because if we don't, then those doors underneath there, hey buddy, those doors underneath there are going to get all kind of messed up and start detecting villages when they shouldn't. So 3x3 hole, covered up like so. Now back over to our input signals in the corner over here. From out of that block there, put a repeater facing out and build another RS NOR latch like so. All the dust on top, torch on the side, torch on that block down there, get a dust right there, and then 2 dust coming out. Now we're going to invert that signal, putting a block and a torch on the back side like that. Now take dust, 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 and run the dust into that block like that. Okay? Alright, now from that corner of dust there, you want to come down 5 more dust. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and put it into yet another hopper timer system. In case you haven't noticed, I love these things. They're incredibly flexible. So yeah, once again, 2 hoppers facing into each other, comparator going out on either side into a block, dust, and a inward facing sticky piston on both sides with a redstone block in the middle. This line of dust right here is probably off for you, so to get that to turn on, just come over here and drop a torch right there temporarily and then kill it, and that should toggle everything and power this hopper. Yeah, that's what they're called. And with your redstone block on the other side, go ahead and just put 21 blocks of your choice into the right hopper. Next, out of this block on the timer system, put a torch on the side of it like that, put a block directly on top of it, and then continue to build this setup here, basically a line of blocks all the way into the one just below powering the rail there. But here you're going to put a sticky piston facing up, block on top of it, and you're going to put a repeater coming out of that one, put it on maximum ticks, and then dust, 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 dust. If your villager was up here, that should kick them down to the bottom at that point. Moving on, next we need to get a torch on the other side of that block there. So temporarily break that, hop in there, and put a torch on the side of the block like so. And then go ahead and fix that. Take some dust now and run it next to the torch. You can see it down there. Bring it out like that. Now you're going to build a little bridge to hop over that signal. Dust over the bridge, and take 3 repeaters facing that way and go 1, 2, 3 and put them all on maximum tick. Alright, next we're going to start dealing with this hopper chain and ice craziness going on. So you should have something that looks like this at this point. So verify it is as so, and then also verify that your hoppers are all connected in a line coming from down there all the way down. So that's the flow of the items from over there this way, okay? If that's the case, then you're going to take a dropper, skip a space after the last hopper, put a dropper facing up, then take another hopper and point it into the a hopper, and put it into the side of the dropper so that the chain continues right along in. Now take a comparator, come out of the dropper, put it right there, put a repeater right after it, do some dust, and run dust over here, repeater, and dust. So it looks like that. Now take some dust back here and put a repeater into a block. All these repeaters are on single tick. Okay? Next, we're going to enclose this dropper and kind of make a water path that's going to funnel into our ice stream. So go ahead and make a path that looks like this. And now the 3 blocks below there, go ahead and place ice like so. If you don't have them, regular blocks will work okay for just these 3. So don't go crazy if you don't have the ice there, but the rest of it needs to be ice. Alright, down at the other end now, you should have something that looks like this. So go ahead and grab some hoppers and shift click into the side of that one, and then shift click like that. Okay? Take some dust and put it on just that one there. Now feel free to take some glass or whatever and just kind of enclose that area like there. And back down at the other end again now. Take some more blocks and kind of extend our top row out like this, and then build a little ramp down. And go ahead and take some dust and the repeaters that we built a little bit ago. Take that line and run it up and connect it in. Then you're going to go to this block right there, pop it out, put an upward facing sticky piston, put a block on top of it. Okay? The whole time you're up here, it's critical that these blocks here, this line that's attached to those stickies, make sure nothing is ever above any of those blocks. Now, coming out of the sticky piston block combo you just did, you're going to have a repeater coming out, and it's absolutely important that you add 1 tick to it like that. Then, of the dust you already have, count down 8 more, and add another repeater, leaving it on normal tick, and then count down 11 dust after that. And at that dust, just put a redstone torch on the side, like so. The rest of the dust after that, you can reclaim. Then go ahead and put another torch 2 blocks after that repeater there. So you should have something like that. Now what you want to do is verify now that every one of your hoppers in the hopper chain is powered. Alright, now add some water to your ice stream. So put a water source right on top of the dropper. Let it flow down, watch where it stops. And now you can either place a sign on that wall or a top facing slab like so. Then go ahead and add another one right after it, water supply that is, and then just keep repeating the process. The items will flow under the slabs or past the signs, whichever one you're using. But if you're using slabs, make sure you get them on the top side. And then the last one should end up like this. When the item comes down, it'll slide across the ice and go into the hopper chain and reset. Next, go ahead and put 1 item in that end hopper right there, the one that does not have a comparator coming out of it. Alright, down here at the far end again, we're going to take a comparator and take it out of that last corner hopper like so, and then put a lamp right there. And the reason we use a lamp here, it doesn't have to be, but the reason I prefer a lamp here is it tells you that this block is in that hopper. And when that lamp's on, it means phase 2 of the entire automation process is not active, and it means it's ready to go. So after that, put a torch on the side and start running some dust down here and kick it over 1 like so. Alright, this next part is a little bit tricky, but shouldn't be too bad. What we're going to need to do is take this line here and run it as a downward redstone signal all the way down this wooden column here. So go down there and we're going to face a downward facing sticky piston like so, so that this line you just did is running right into it. Now on the face of that, put a redstone block, skip 2 blocks, and put another block with dust on it. So you have sticky, redstone, air, and then I guess air and a dust on top of it with a block there. Now just keep repeating that pattern now. Another sticky down, another redstone dust or block, skip 2, regular block with a dust on top of it, and keep repeating that process going down. Alright, you're going to keep going down until you get down to your main floor with all the redstone on it, and for the phase 1 floor, and it should look something like this. So just go ahead and take some dust, run it along the wall there and into that block there with a repeater. Alright guys, that's going to do it for the phase 2 redstone section. All that's left, I would say, is light up the area here. You don't want things spawning up here, so get it all lit up, but be careful when you're lighting near the ice. You don't want to melt that. Alright, you're ready to close up the flooring on the second floor, on the bottom floor spawning pad, and add the water. Adding the water is pretty straightforward. Just on the corners, go ahead and add 3 iron bars like that, and then put a water source against them so that it comes out like that. And then as for other water sources, add them on the third one in. So skip, skip, and then add a water source there. And then of course down there you're free to just chain them along. Same on this side, skip, skip, water source, and then just string them along. Do that, use that method in all 8 corners of the 2 spawning pads. And the last thing you want to do is go ahead and rehook up your missing golem detector. If you had broken it like I did temporarily while you were building, go ahead and reconnect it now. And you are done. Alright, now since this was such a crazy long tutorial and there's always a minor chance that a mistake was made, I want to show you guys how to manually reset the system, whether it's running or not, just to always kind of wipe out clean slate, and when you're done with that, you can always guarantee that you can run it fresh from there, okay? Now, admittedly, this is an absolutely horrible process, and I could probably put some automation time into it, but once the system's working, you shouldn't ever have to do it again, alright? Step 1 is part of the phase 1 process. Come over here to the back of this primary RS NOR latch, put a button there, okay? Step 1 is always going to be press that button. Alright, step 2 is wait until your redstone block kicks back over like that, and then always verify that there are 64 and 24 on the right side, looking at it this way, and put 2 blocks back in the left side. So 2 there, 64, 24 there. Step 3, over on the secondary side, take any items out of that hopper right there and put them back into the dropper next to it. So you should have 16. Step 4, and this one's horrible, I know. Go ahead and break that dust. All your pistons along the top there should go down, and then just add some more dust back there again just to reestablish the power. Step 5 is only necessary if the process was underway in phase 2. If so, find the block that's extended on the roof like this, and then find the hopper associated to it. Pull the block out of it and put it back into this first hopper right there, the one without a comparator. Alright, it's time to watch this thing reconstruct itself. So, there are no villages active in the system anywhere, so everything is hooked up, ready to go. There are no golems being spawned because there are no villages, so all we have to do is wait for our golem detector to detect that no golems have come down the trench there, and it will automatically trigger off a reconstruction process. Let's wait for it. And there it goes. Alright. Phase 1 is now active. This timer right here is actively shifting its blocks over. So this first period here is just a 60-second kind of pre-delay. And what that does is it gives a chance for any villages that are active in the system to be reset. So, you know, if you want to manually reset the system for whatever reason, you think it didn't form right or something, which, you know, if there was an issue with during construction, that could happen. You can always hit that button and it'll wipe out whatever village you have. So that's what's happening right now, is we're waiting for a 60-second delay for all of the existing villages to be destroyed. So what's going to happen though when that's done is this bottom row of blocks is going to be retracted, and we're going to get our first village created right here. Let's wait for it. Alright, there it goes. Pistons are retracted and you'll see the red dots. So we have our first village created. And then at the same time, we can see the signal is running down our repeater line here. And what that's going to do is trigger the secondary village side over here to retract its bottom set of doors. And in this case, there's going to be 2 doors exposed because there's 2 air blocks right there. And when that happens, now the first door is going to link up with that door there, like you see. And the second one is going to create a new village, which are these purple dots, which you may or may not be able to see. But now we have 2 villages in the system. Okay, each one of these lines represents a village whose center point is right in the middle, as you can see by the red dots up there. So now we're waiting 60 seconds for the detector villager over there. He's now raised, so the door on this side will be deregistered from the system, which is going to kick the both villages over there. So we'll have 2 of them right next to each other. But then immediately after that, we're going to expose 3 blocks here. So this is all explained in detail in the how it works section. So if you're curious what's really going on here, I encourage you to go check that section out. And there you go. So now we have 2 villages that each have 2 doors, and the third village is the blue one now, right there. So there's always one extra village that has 1 door, and all the other ones will always have 2 doors. And again, there's the signal going across. This time it's going to expose 4 blocks here, and 3 of the villages will link up right about now. There we go. And the 4th one created is the turquoise one there. So this process pretty much just keeps ping-ponging back and forth all the way until we have 32 villages. So let's watch it happen. Alright, it looks like phase 2, or phase 1, is just about done. So I think we have our 32 villages all lined up here now. So what's going to happen is these doors on the main side here are going to be deregistered, and all 32 villages are going to line up on that far side over there. And when it does, phase 1 is done and phase 2 will start. There it goes. Phase 2 should be kicking off any second now. There it goes. So now this timer right here is active, and what we're going to do is the phase 2 is each of these blocks here on sticky pistons like so. We're going to extend one at a time, and the 21 doors below them are all going to be registered in a certain order, and it's going to move the villager in, or move the village in. So you'll see it's at an angle now, and the center point there of that nest of purple represents the center point of the village, and the reason it's offset like that is because of the 1 door over there. Now you'll see each village is first added by registering the doors on the bottom first, and then about 6 seconds later it kicks up just like that. That's because that's when it then adds the top doors to that village. And the process basically just keeps continuing now. It first connects low, and then 6 seconds later it connects up high. And what's happening up here is we got this villager on a minecart who's going up and down the tracks. When he comes up like that, that's when the bottom doors are registered, and it gives him enough time to do so, and then he slides down into the pit, which is when the top doors in the system register because he is now in range. And then he repeats the process. He comes back up here, and when he does, the next block is exposed and moving on to the next village. So let's watch it happen. And as you can see, during phase 2, golems are spawning. The golem spawn area is slightly shifted off to the side here, but we get probably about 90% effective spawn rates during phase 2. Okay, that is the last village that is now in place. Now the final step is all the doors on the secondary side will be released, and the entire set of villages will immediately jump into place. There they go. And there you have it. 32 villages have been created automatically and repositioned perfectly into place. And now we have the Iron Trench fully functional and ready to rock. Okay, that's going to do it, guys. For those of you looking for an absolute truckload of iron these days and are looking to build an iron golem farm, I believe that this design is now the clear choice for you. Also, I do want to mention, if you do run into a little trouble building this thing, I will be very glad to help you guys all out. Just leave a comment with your questions, or actually better yet, just send me a personal message on YouTube. Anytime you can send me a picture or a video response, that will definitely help your cause and grab my attention. Alright guys, I spent a very long 3 weeks designing this thing and working out all the kinks, so please do me a favor and like this video if you enjoyed it, and consider subscribing if you want to see what crazy inventions I come up with next. Also, consider checking out my Let's Play series, which has a lot of custom inventions like this one, not to this scale, some really good quality editing, and a good bit of humor thrown in there to keep you on your toes. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. My name is Tango, and I will catch you guys later.